When we think about the future of computing, we usually picture faster chips, more complex code, right? But what if the next giant leap forward isn't in some high-tech lab, but it's actually buzzing in a beehive or firing away inside our own skulls? Today, we are diving into bio-spired computing, a field that's learning from nature's oldest and, let's face it, smartest code.
It kind of sounds like the start of a joke, doesn't it? What on earth could a tiny ant teach a machine that can do trillions of calculations every single second? Well, it turns out the answer is a lot. And that one simple question really gets to the very heart of what bio-inspired computing is all about.
So here it is, the official term, bio-inspired computing. And it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. Instead of just trying to build faster and faster processors the old-fashioned way, scientists are now looking at the ultimate problem solver, life itself. They're studying everything from evolution to animal behavior to find brand new ways to compute.
Which brings us to this first huge idea, thinking of nature as the ultimate coder. I mean, just think about it for a second. For literally billions of years, life has been running the most complex simulations you can imagine, constantly tweaking and optimizing solutions. The code is written in DNA, and the output is, well, it's everything we see around us. Just try to wrap your head around that. An entire ecosystem, a human grain, even one single cell. These are all incredible information processing systems, and they've been refined by millions of years of trial and error. So computer scientists are asking a really cool question. What if we could learn from that process? What if we could actually use the logic of evolution or the structure of a brain to build better, smarter, and way more efficient machines?
So let's start with one of the coolest and most powerful examples out there, the swarm. Whether you're talking about ants, bees, or even termites, these little creatures achieve unbelievable things without a single leader telling anybody what to do. So how do they do it?
Well, the answer is this amazing concept called emergence. This is the idea that complex, intelligent, and super coordinated behavior can just emerge from the simple, decentralized actions of a lot of individuals. Ant colonies are the perfect example. No one ant has the master plan for the nest. No one ant knows the best path to the food. And yet, the colony as a whole acts like a single, intelligent superorganism.
So how do we actually apply this stuff? Well, check this out. Researchers have created virtual insects that can navigate really complex terrain using just 6 simple rules, kind of like the ones you see here. There's no grand strategy, no GPS, nothing like that. It's just a series of basic, if this, then that commands. But here's the magic. When these simple rules are followed over and over, a really complex and adaptive navigational skill emerges. The insect literally looks like it's learning its environment, even though it's just following a really basic script. And this quote just captures it perfectly. It shows you the incredible power of emergence. You start with these tiny, simple rules, and you end up with this incredibly sophisticated, adaptive behavior that you never, ever would have predicted just by looking at the starting point. It's a huge foundational idea in this whole field.
Okay, so let's scale up. We're going from the collective intelligence of a swarm to the single most complex computational device we know of in the entire universe, the human brain. Now, the goal isn't just to mimic group behavior, it's to try and build a single powerful mind out of silicon.
And the goal here is, to put it mildly, incredibly ambitious. We're talking about creating systems that can learn, perceive, and even reason in a way that's directly inspired by our own minds. You've almost definitely heard of artificial neural networks, which are basically the engine behind all of today's AI. Well, that's a direct result of this exact line of thinking.
But this goes way beyond just software. People are now building entirely new kinds of hardware. They're called neuromorphic chips, and they're physically built from the ground up to function more like a biological brain, with their own artificial neurons and synapses.
And probably one of the most mind-blowing examples of this is a project from IBM called the True North chip. This was a total landmark project that really showed the world what was possible. So get ready for some seriously impressive numbers.
First off, the True North chip packs 1 million programmable neurons. Now, to put that into perspective for you, that's roughly the processing power of a honeybee's brain. That is a massive, massive step forward for a single piece of silicon.
But hey, what good are neurons without connections, right? True North has an unbelievable 256 million programmable synapses. These are the pathways, the connections that allow for that complex, parallel information processing that makes our brains so ridiculously powerful.
Okay, but this number right here might be the most astonishing one of all.
That entire silicon brain, all 1 million neurons and 256 million synapses, runs on just 70 milliwatts of power. That is thousands of times more efficient than a normal computer chip. And this is the real secret sauce. Nature's designs aren't just about being smart, they're about achieving that intelligence with almost impossible efficiency.
Now, as incredible as all this sounds, we do have to pump the brakes a little and be realistic. This field is still pretty young, and there are some really big hurdles that we still need to clear.
I mean, it's the question you're probably asking, right? If we can build these amazing chips like True North, why isn't my laptop having a deep philosophical conversation with me? Well, the answer comes down to some really fundamental challenges we're still wrestling with.
So here are the big three. First, for all our amazing advances in neuroscience, we still have a really incomplete map of the brain. We just don't fully understand how it works. Second, our current AI algorithms are kind of brittle. They need massive, and I mean massive, amounts of data and processing power to learn anything. And third, most of our computer hardware is still based on an architecture that was designed back in the 1940s, and it's just fundamentally different from how a brain is structured.
But here's the thing. These hurdles aren't roadblocks. They're more like a roadmap. Solving these problems isn't just about making computers a little bit better. It could literally trigger the next great evolution in computing itself.
And that's the key takeaway here. By looking to nature, whether it's the crazy emergent intelligence of an ant colony or the mind-boggling efficiency of the brain, we're being forced to fundamentally rethink how we build intelligent machines in the first place. It's a real shift from pure calculation to actual cognition, from brute force to elegant efficiency.
Which leaves us with one last, really big question to chew on. As we get better and better at copying the blueprints of life, are we just building better tools? Or are we on the verge of creating something else entirely, a new form of intelligence, maybe even a new kind of mind, born from silicone but truly inspired by biology? Now that is something to think about.